Hi everyone, welcome to the Weiner Wellness Week Fall Fiesta virtual event. We are live today with Jamie Dorley, the CEO and owner of Nutrional Frontiers, which was co-founded by Jamie and Dr. James Weiner. So we're so lucky to have him on with us. And he's going to talk about something really important today. His title is, Can You See the Difference? We're going to talk about a couple different options we have for vitamin C, and he's going to go a lot deeper. We're going to hear so much more about it. So, Jamie, thanks for your time today. We know you're very busy, but being able to get on here, share this information with thousands of people that we can reach online here, we're excited for it. So thanks today.
Well, thanks, Candace. You and Tracy Strappa do an incredible job. Thanks to the Weiner Wellness Center, still keeping the legacy going from the international icon, Dr. James Weiner. And, you know, we're doing what I call a hybrid event right now, and I'm excited to be part of it. So I want to thank everyone on the team. And I was down there on Saturday because some people still go and they do a walk-in. We don't have all the extracurricular activities going on, but you can go down there and shop. You can call and they can ship the orders. You can do curbside pickup if you want to pick it up. You can order through their website. So fantastic way to get people involved. And as we always like to say, if you like what we're doing, tell a friend. If you don't like what we're doing, you can tell Candace, and she's the boss today. So I was down at the event this week, and it was really interesting because it brought me all the way back to almost 20 years ago, where I met Joe Messino. We were at the Almanzo Palace Inn. It was a big hotel in Monroeville. You were probably in grade school at the time, Candace. Maybe a little toddler. So, you know, I'd first met Joe Messino, and Dr. Weiner did the events at a hotel. And I bring it up because in the picture, I had all the Ultra Meal and Ultra Clear in front of me on the table. I worked for Metagenics, and that's a key part of my career because my mentor there was Dr. Jeffrey Bland. And Dr. Bland's known as the father of functional medicine, but his background and one of his mentors was Linus Pauling. And they worked together at Oregon State University. They were doing incredible research studies on vitamin C, up to 30 and 40,000 milligrams per day. So that's really where I want to start today because, you know, you can never forget where you came from. And, you know, without Dr. Bland, Dr. Weiner, and Linus Pauling, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So, you know, he actually did all the research on vitamin C. And what Linus Pauling was saying was, he's a 2 times Nobel Peace Prize winner. And he said, I got a point where I think we can get almost complete control of cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, and strokes with the proper use of C and L-lysine. He's actually, I'm just quoting him, not making any claims here, it can prevent cardiovascular disease and even cure it. So they did incredible research. And we tend to think of vitamin C for immune function. You know, with everything going on in COVID this year, that they said you can fix the COVID issue even if you have it with hydroxychloroquine, antibiotic, vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. And that's part of our program is utilizing the vitamin C, super zinc, and utilizing vitamin D at therapeutic levels. We actually have a natural version of hydroxychloroquine called cinchona, and this is the herbal extract that's been around since the 1600s. So we have the program for you to help with your immune system. And today we're really going to focus mostly on vitamin C because, Candace, as you shared with our team, there's no shortage of vitamin C out there. However, most of it, what I found from doing some homework over the weekend, is really hard compressed tablets because they want to try and jam as much vitamin C in there as possible. However, I find that tablets don't break down very well, even in the best of digestive systems. So we've got to give other options for compliance and to maximize absorbability, assimilation, and excretion. So do you like big tablets, Candace?
No, definitely not.
Right. So what do you prefer for a delivery system if you had your choice?
I really like powders. They're my go-to. I'm constantly drinking something, so it's fun to add a little scoop into something and spice it up a little.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part is we have vitamin C now in the powder. We have it in a veggie capsule. We have it in a chewable, and we have a liposomal liquid. So many different options, and I always go by compliance first, because if you're not going to take it, it doesn't matter how well the formula is. If you're not going to take it and take it consistently, that should be your name, Candace. Consistent Candace, because she's always taking the formulations, making those shakes, and she does it every single day. So we can go to the next slide. Is it working?
Yep.
Oh, okay, there we go. And this is actually a picture of Dr. Pauling and Jeff Bland. I had to pull this one out of the archives. This is when Dr. Bland was Director of Nutritional Research at the Linus Pauling Institute of Science and Medicine in the early 1980s. I remember the 80s. And he worked directly with two-time Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Linus Pauling, and he considered his lifelong mentor. So it's almost like a great mentor, right? So Dr. Bland to Linus Pauling, and they did just some incredible research, both being from the Northwest area of the country, Oregon State University. So I just want to share that with people, because when people see my background, they may not realize that, I work with Dr. Bland, and, he worked with Dr. Pauling. So, I'm originally from New York. I went to Slippery Rock University right here in Western PA, fell in love with the people in Western PA. If you're not familiar, Slippery Rock's a state university about an hour north of Pittsburgh. I went there because they were one of the few schools in the country at the time that was certified, NATA certified for athletic training. I always wanted to be a sports medicine doctor. Where did you go to school, Candace?
I'm right there with you. You picked me right up from Slippery Rock. I graduated there in 2014, and just 2 days later started at Nutritional Frontiers. So Slippery
It's a
Rock.
lot harder school than people think that, to get into, and it's even harder to get out of. So we both graduated. My degree was in used to be called community health, but now public health. And
Same
I had
thing.
Candace has the same degree. Mike Gallagher went there. So a lot of people on our team have gone to Slippery Rock. I worked at Bally's Health Club, and then I became American College of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer. And I was a little disenchanted with sports nutrition, because I worked at SciFit for so long. I did national, international sales in sports nutrition, and I felt like there had to be a better quality control out there. And that's when I discovered Metagenics and Dr. Bland. He was my mentor there. I worked under his guidance and under his direction for almost 7 years. And I moved down to Tampa. I ran Florida, and then I ran the Southeast for them, and probably would still be with them. But, unfortunately, some companies at some point, they do sell. So when they sold, it was time for me to come back to Pittsburgh. And I started with, you had mentioned earlier, Dr. Weiner, started Nutritional Frontiers. And the whole model was to do more events like we're doing now, more comprehensive formulations, and really to get back in touch with our healthcare professionals, our patients, and their clients and consumers, so that we had a close-knit community. And we were doing events back in the early 2000s together at the hotels, and then it evolved into doing them at the old Pain Release Clinic, and now the Weiner Wellness Center. For a brief period, I did own my own wellness center, the Nutrifarm. That was Dan Wagner's old place. I really did it during the transition. Now it's owned by Dr. Hunter Hoper. So we continue that legacy also. So we have experience in the front line. We know what formulations work well, and more importantly, what are the best for not only quality, but compliance and then effectiveness. So you can fast forward. So our mission is to make the world healthy. As we learned during this year with COVID, Candace, wow, is our country unhealthy? And, we don't wish anything on anybody. However, what we did find is the people that suffered the most from COVID were the people at the high risk already, right? So you look at older population, excuse me, you look at people who had underlying comorbidities such as heart disease, which is still the number one killer in the US, diabetes, the silent killer, right? Elevated hypertension. You look at people that have chronic inflammation. And we're going to talk a little bit about this today, because you can't just talk about vitamins. You got to talk about the immune system and the whole body together. Because what happened is that the people that were the sickest going into this were the sickest on the way out. And one of the greatest minds from our generation, or before our generation, is Albert Einstein. He says, Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result, right? Because it's not going to happen. That's what's going on with our medical system right now. So it's a definition of insanity. If you have a trauma, you get in an accident, you get hurt, an injury, something like that, then the medical system is one of the best ones in the USA. If it's chronic care, not really the best thing, because what happens is that, they're racing for the cure. We've always wanted to go after what's causing the problem, right? And it's exactly what you see, the camel that, the straw that broke the camel's back. People that had the biggest issues with COVID-19 already had underlying conditions, medication, emotional dysfunction, things like bad habits, smoking and lack of exercise, right? Sedentary lifestyle, stress, toxicity, all these things built up. And we learned on Saturday about vaccinations that now you get exposed to it, nothing happens. One of these people that have all these other cofactors, now it's debilitating and it could even lead to death. So Dr. Weiner, my other mentor, he always talked about toxicity and nutrient deficiency as being the two causes of all chronic illness. And he says anything can cause anything. If you give the body what it needs, it will heal itself. And, back to 400 BC, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said, let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food, right? So you can't out-medicate a bad diet and you can't out-diet, bad medication. So remember, folks, we want to know what's causing the problem, not what's going to cure the problem. So if you look at it overall, this is comorbidities with risk factors, right? So this is one of those charts where you look at the overlap, right? So if people had had a history of smoking, poor lung function, elevated blood pressure, diabetes type 1, 2, and type 3 diabetes now, Candace, as you know, is inflammation in the brain. Look at all these chronic dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, we learned on Saturdays, going through the roof, right? Those diseases didn't exist a few years ago. And then you look at any type of cardiovascular complications, obesity, right? These things all factored into, and the people that had these the most are the ones that had the biggest risk factors and complications of COVID-19. When you add in respiratory disease, COPD, lung disease, asthma, those types of things, those were even worse. So this shows you how the risk factors are going to greatly compound anything that you're exposed to, right? So the highest and lowest death rates, cardiovascular disease, it kills the most people in the US, almost 800,000 per year. It makes you wonder, how do they sell things like hydrogenated fats, right? How is McDonald's still open? What about the consumption of sugar from Coca-Cola, 40 grams per can, right? These things all lead to cardiovascular disease. Back when I first got in my career, fats was a 4-letter word. They convinced people that fats were bad for you. They didn't distinguish between good and bad fats. So what happened? Sugar consumption went up, cardiovascular disease went up. You look at medications for hypertension and high cholesterol went up. And cardiovascular disease is still the number one killer in the US. And who had the biggest risk factors for death when they got COVID was people with cardiovascular disease, almost 10%. If you don't have any cofactors, it's less than 1% of death. But cardiovascular 10, diabetes almost 8, any respiratory disease at 6%, hypertension, and even cancer is around 6%. So these all factored in to people's death rates with COVID. So this is the evolution of man, right? So we're not going to get into any religious discussion. This is more of a tongue-in-cheek type of illustration of evolution. And, what used to be very uncommon on the right has become very common in our country, right? If you just stop sometimes, and we did an exercise today on focus, if you just focus and look at populations, right? It could be at Walmart or it could be at Disney World, right? You're going to see more and more people that are not only a little overweight, but are really obese. Our healthcare system ranks 37th. And our health as a country ranks 72nd in the world right now, folks. So again, we got to stop the insanity. If we keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, that's what Einstein said insanity is. And our healthcare for chronic disease right now is insane. When you look at the countries that are ranked above us, some of them you expect, like Japan, Italy, France. A doc did one of his undergraduate studies over in France. He was an art major. He says that people didn't keep a lot of food in their refrigerator. They lived in cities and small towns, and they would walk and buy food every day because they weren't allowed to use any preservatives that we have in the U.S. The U.S. currently allows over 800. And when he was in France, he said it was like 2. So people didn't keep a lot of food in the fridge because it would spoil real easily. It was all freshly bought every day, and that's why they always rank in the top 5. So not unusual. However, there are a lot of countries on this list that we may consider third world or maybe not as developed as the U.S. However, their health is a lot better, and it probably goes back to their lifestyle. So we got to change what we're doing in order to get the result. Doesn't matter if it's immune system, COVID, heart disease, cancers, it doesn't matter. So people say, well, I'll just get the flu shot. Or Candace, I got friends and family members, and I know people that say, I can't wait once the vaccination comes out, I'll be fine. Have you heard people say that?
Yeah, all the time. And you look at them, and it kind of goes back to that last image we just showed of the evolution. And you're seeing more of the overweight people just relying on that and a mask to keep them healthy when they don't understand the first thing about health.
No. And the other one is the flu shot. When's the last time you got a flu shot?
Never in my life have I.
Oh, there
Not
we go.
one.
That's the answer I want. I've gotten one once. 1994, I worked at the Rivers Club downtown. I was getting ready for Mr. Pennsylvania bodybuilding show, and I was in the best shape of my life. And it was connected to St. Francis Health Center. So a nurse that worked there, a good friend of mine, she'd come over to work out every day around 4:00. Did you get your flu shot? No. And every day she would be on me. And she said, oh, it's so bad this year. And she said, you work here. It's only $5 for a flu shot. I said, well, it's worth it to get you off my back. So I went and got it on a Thursday. And within about 3 to 4 hours, I felt chills. So I went home that night. I was sick as a dog. I was in bed Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is BC, before children, Candace. So I was going out all the time with friends and having a good time. And I was really sick that I didn't get out of bed for the whole weekend. When I finally got back into work on Monday, I saw her and I said, I got really sick Thursday. She goes, didn't you get the shot? I said, yes. She goes, well, thank God. Imagine how bad you would have been. I said, no, time out. Stop the clock. I said, that's what got me sick. She said, impossible. I said, well, I'll never get that thing again. And I haven't got the shot since, and I rarely get sick. But if you look at it, they say it's a shot in the dark because, first of all, the scientists that make these vaccinations, they have to guess which strain it's going to be. And they do this 6, 9, 10 months beforehand. So they're saying the flu season's coming. Well, those vaccinations are made already. They don't know what strain of influenza it is. But research really shows is that, the CDC saying here that the flu vaccine is about 60% effective. So 6 out of 10 people, they say it may be effective. But overall, they say 2 out of 7 adults will actually get the flu in the first place. So if only 3 people out of 100 are getting it, and it's roughly 50%. So every person that gets the flu shot of 100, you're going to help one person. How many are you going to hurt? So we go to the next slide here. Folks, this is published research from the CDC. There's no reason to get it, right? So they're saying it's less than 50% effective. Only 3 people out of 100 get it. So you're maybe going to help 1.5, 1.5% of people. Is it really worth it? What about all the people that you're going to have side effects like I experienced? So you want to stay healthy? Interesting, because we have had this slide since before you started. Wash your hands. Isn't that what we're saying with COVID? Doesn't that go with everything? Wash your hands. As a little kid, you got to wash your hands before dinner. exercise. This looks like our NF for Life program, Candace. Eat healthy, drink healthy, relax, sleep, reduce stress, and take your immune supporters. So things like vitamin C, D, zinc, Immunomax, things like the cinchona. This is all stuff we've been talking about for years, and now it's become in vogue. I never saw so many people washing their hands so often, especially when they're traveling. So let's go to the next slide. So he had some incredible quotes about vitamin C. You know, Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, Nobel Peace Prize winner, National Medal of Science. This is in my lineage of my mentors. So I'm really proud of that. And I was really fortunate. I call myself one of the luckiest people because I got to work with Dr. Bland, who worked with Dr. Pauling. So next slide. And he said nearly all disease can be traced to nutritional deficiencies. Oh, same thing Dr. Weiner said, right? You know, if your body doesn't have the nutrients in it, it doesn't work as well. I mean, this goes all the way back to sailors on the ship with scurvy and they needed vitamin C, right? They figured that out from being on a boat for all that time. Nutritional deficiencies, and now the new part of that is toxicity also. You can go to the next one. So what causes nutritional deficiencies? Well, there's a lot of things that cause nutritional deficiencies, but probably one of the biggest being that the US is 5% of the world's population. We consume about 2/3 of the world's drugs. Wow. So I know you like to have parties at your house, Candace. So say you have 20 people over. Imagine 5%, one person out of 20 consuming 2/3 of the food and drinks at your party. Would that seem a little excessive? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, right? So you have a small part of the world consuming 2/3 of the world drugs, and it's not working, folks. It's not working. We know it's not working because we rank 72nd in health. And you look at not only that, but what about the nutritional deficiencies that are occurring from medications? You know, here's all the popular medications, what they deplete, and the potential side effects of it. So the big ones are vitamins. We're talking about vitamin C today. So vitamins, minerals, magnesium is still one of the most efficient nutrients in the world. Probiotics, and we look at CoQ10. This is all part of our Great Pyramid of Health, which you and Tracy created. So nutritional deficiencies, and the biggest thing that depletes the nutrients are pharmaceutical drugs. So we're not against drugs. They're just overprescribed and overconsumed. So vitamin C, some of the signs and symptoms: low immune function, dry skin, gums or teeth decay. That's becoming more and more common these days. You may have nosebleeds. You may have varicose veins. I know spider veins, it's a big no-no for women. They don't like that. Hemorrhoids, you know, chronic illness, right? You know, some people, Candace, you may know some people that get sick a lot more frequently than
Yeah, and
others.
it seems like they get, repetitive colds. It's someone that's always sick versus people who seem to never get sick.
Yeah, and a lot of it is your immune system. It's like your defense, right? If you don't build up a good defense, you're not gonna be able to fight anything off. Your body's immune system is your vaccine. It's designed to kill off anything, folks. And you get vitamin C from food, not from junk. You're not going to get it from Mickey D's or from Coca-Cola. You get it from fruits and veggies, the colorful foods. We always know about the citrus foods, right? Oranges, limes, lemons, those types of things, grapefruits. But broccoli is one of the best ways. Avocados, peppers. This promotes eating the rainbow of foods. Kiwi, right? All these different things on here. Strawberries. You know, you want to make sure you eat a good variety of foods. And the more you eat these foods, the better they're going to taste. If they don't taste good to you, it's because your taste buds have been polluted. So eat real foods. This is just a sample, but fruits and veggies, also great source of calcium. People think dairy products, but so Buffered C Plus is our flagship formulation for vitamin C. So you want a combination of food and also supplementation. So the difference is the delivery systems. Candace prefers the powdered. So we have the Buffered C Plus effervescent powder. How does that taste?
Oh, it's great. I really like the effervescent to it. It's our first product with it. It's really fizzy, so sometimes I'll mix them in a cup and then put it under the water that pours into it. And I kind of just swirl it up, and I don't even have to get a shaker cup out or anything. It's really easy to use, and it tastes really good.
Yeah, it gives you an extra PSE, positive side effects. So if you're feeling a little bloated or you don't even realize it, it will, with that sodium bicarbonate, help relieve any of that problem. I mix it with GI Complete Lemon Lime and vanilla shake, so I love it. I take the buffered seed capsules. So the buffered seed capsules is a hypoallergenic formula. It's a veggie cap with actually vitamin C derived from cherries and has bioflavonoids. And when we say plus, we're meaning our mineral ascorbate. So the minerals actually buffer the vitamin C. So we have it in capsules, powder, cherry chews, or they taste like sweet tarts. Kids love them. So if you want to get some good cherry tasting vitamin C in, and you want your kid to get a little treat, give them a cherry chews. And then Lipo C is our liposomal. That's a liquid delivery. So there's your delivery system. It doesn't matter. They're all effective. You got to pick one that's going to give you the highest compliancy. And if you want to say dosage wise, they all have a great dose. But if you want to get the highest dose and you don't care about delivery, go with the powdered C. Thanks. So let's just talk about the immune system. Let's back up a little bit. The immune system is your defense. We live in steel country here, so Pittsburgh, the steel curtain, known for defense. You got to have a great defense to kill off any foreign invaders. Your body's immune system is designed to kill off things like bacteria, viruses, parasites, funguses, molds, anything that you come in contact with. In fact, your immune system is mostly located in your intestinal tract, because usually it's things you ingest by breathing in, drinking, or food, or something you ingest. So your immune system's there to activate, to fight it off, and then to pull it out of the body. However, you need your body to be well functioning. Unlike modern medicine, you're not a summation of different body parts. Your body's a very complex system. It all works together. And you look at a weakened immune system. It could be something as simple as a cold. It could be a runny nose. It could be worse, a fever. It could be a flu. Then you look at things, such as HIV, allergies, autoimmune conditions, even cancers. These are all signs of a compromised immune system. And we're going to simplify it today, but it's made up of a lot of different parts, just like defense in football. You have your linemen, your linebackers, your safeties, you have different pieces of the puzzle. The immune system is very complex. We're going to keep it nice and simple today, but you have white blood cells and the lymphatic system we're going to talk about more during my detox presentation this week. Lymphatic system is really important because that's your sewage system. So the problem with the lymphatic system is no pump. So what do? You need to move the body. When you take your dog for a walk, they go to the bathroom. When you get the lymphatic system moving, that's how you help drain parts of the body. And the lymphatic system is a key part of the immune system. But bone marrow, spleen, thymus, hormones, these are all parts of your very complex immune system. When you look at the diagram here on the next slide coming up, this looks at the human body, and everywhere in there, and you look at the miracle of the human body, right? The tonsils, they're designed to help fight off things right away, right? When kids get their tonsils and adenoids removed, they're at high risk for ear infections. Then they get tubes in the ears, then they're on antibiotics, and then allergy shots, right? So there's a very common theme here. The immune system is actually started with a natural delivery. So when you have a child through a natural delivery through the vaginal canal, they get exposed to the acidophilus. And then when you breastfeed, they get the bifidobacterium. If you don't get those two components of the immune system beginning to be built right away, it's hard to catch up later on, folks. As we become adolescents and adults, then this immune system gets stronger and stronger, or it can get weaker and weaker. So all these parts are really important to the body. Modern medicine thinks that we, as Doc would say, We have a overabundance of organs and a lack of medications, right? So they want to pull out things like the appendix, pull out things like part of your colon and things like that. So not a good idea. We want to keep all these components working in a very synergistic fashion so they're all synchronized together. So we have the program. It's called the NF for Life. Candace practices this. I do. Our entire team does. If you own a business or work for a company and you're in HR and you want to bring this to your company, we can do that for you. The Wellness Center, the Weiner Wellness Center practices program. But very simple things we talked about. Keeping clean, under stress, making sure you sleep, your diet, exercise. These are all part of our NF for Life program, all parts of the program at the Weiner Wellness Center. And in fact, we have a quarterly magazine called The Holistic Truth. We do the radio shows, the wellness weeks, many different opportunities for you to learn. And you can do this with hard copies or electronically, and a great way to stay on top of your program. But these are all things you have a choice over. So as we talk about on our team, Candace, the price to pay is still pain. It's pain of discipline of sticking on the program, or pain of regret when you don't stick with the program. And what I found is the pain of discipline weighs ounces. How much does the pain of regret weigh? Right?
Well, we were just talking with Dr. Orbach this morning on the morning commentary or the roundtable, and he said that pain is actually, the definition shows it is actually an emotion rather than the physical pain we think about. So you're just emphasizing that even more, and the stress of it all can be even more costly.
Yeah, and start slow, folks. I know it's hard sometimes making big changes. I've made a lot of changes, but changes become habits. Habits become rituals. Rituals are things you do every day that you have to do, and they could be good or bad. So you might as well make them good. So water is a key part. I always tell my kids, your body's 70% water. What else is 70% water?
Your brain.
Your brain and the earth, right?
The earth.
So there is no, as Joe would say, there is no coincidence. You got to drink pure water, folks. There's no getting around it. Your brains, your organ, your tissue, your body. How much water? As much as you can drink. You don't need to carry gallons around like I used to do when I was younger. About half your body weight. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you drink 50 ounces. But, the old research study shows if you're not peeing, then you're dehydrated, right? So you want to make sure you're real hydrated. By the time you are thirsty, it's a little late. The other thing is the first time that people think sign of hunger, they're actually thirsty. So drink some water before you go for that snack. If you want to get exciting with water, throw some fruit in there. You go to the hotels, they put strawberries, cucumbers, lemons, limes, whatever you want. You can make it a little fun, throw some GI Complete, the colors so many different ways. But I'll be talking about the Great Pyramid of Health a little more on Friday. But we're not just here for a product. The Weiner Wellness Center, Nutrional Frontiers, we talk about a lifestyle. It begins with all the foundations, then goes into probiotics and enzymes. We're talking about the vitamin C today, but there's many different parts of this. You do this through food and also supplementation. They both feed each other. So vitamin C is essential because it helps with your immune system. There's a tremendous amount of research out there, but couple takeaways here. One, it stimulates the production of both types of white blood cells. It helps your body produce important antibodies. So these are proteins that bind to these foreign invaders and helps neutralize them and excrete them from the body. So it produces white blood cells, both types. It helps bind to foreign invaders, right? It also helps protect certain white blood cells from toxic compounds. We are swimming in a sea of toxicity, and you need the antioxidants in the body. This is why you want to try and buy organic fruits and veggies. Why is the vitamin C in the orange to begin with? It's in the vitamin C is in the orange to protect it against fungus. So if that that oranges has been sprayed with herbicides or pesticides, you don't have as much vitamin C. So really key to buy fruits and veggies when you can organically. So there's so many different ways vitamin C works, but here's a nice visual. Picture's worth 1,000 words. So vitamin C helps with collagen formation. I know all the females out there are worried about their hair, their skin, their nails, and all these collagen products on the market. Take a good vitamin C. That will help build your collagen. The immune system, we just talked about that. Antioxidant, it helps kill off all the toxins we're exposed to. And even if you live a great lifestyle, Candace, you have some internal toxicity just from biochemical reactions, digestion, excretion, waste, all those different things. Cardiovascular, we heard or saw the quote from Dr. Linus Pauling talking about, he said it can cure cardiovascular disease. So that's just a quote from him. And iron absorption, that's why our Easy Iron actually has vitamin C in it. So many different functions in the body. So a lot of research, looks at many different ways vitamin C works. The key takeaway, Candace, you have to take vitamin C daily because it's water soluble, right? So I looked at the studies from Linus Pauling, Oregon State University, and he says we're the only species on the planet do not have the ability to synthesize vitamin C on our own, and we must get it from external sources, supplements or food. It's an essential cofactor in the collagen synthesis, carnitine, the neuropeptides for the brain, and the regulation of gene expression. We'll talk about that more down the road, epigenetics. Plus, the studies show that higher vitamin C is really associated with lower risk of all cardiovascular disease. So the more vitamin C you take, lower cardiovascular disease you'll have. And it's still the #1 killer. So we look at it, we have capsules, powders, chewables, liquid. Candace likes the powder. I like any of them, but I take the caps and the powder. My daughter likes the chewable. I know Mikey likes the liquid, so we have them all available for you at Nutrional Frontiers. Here's just a little visual for you. Which one's better? Whatever one you're going to take. It fits right in with the health pyramid. This is the 8th wonder of the world, the Great Pyramid of Health, because you want to build your program with the foundations, which is your lifestyle, and then food and supplementation. A lot of our supplements are food-based supplements, but you also want to make sure you're eating the right foods because you can't out-supplement or even out-medicate a bad lifestyle. So we encourage you to do both. Healthy lifestyle, healthy food, and supplementation. If you're already sick, some simple things, the old recommendations, even Vicks on the chest. Dr. Weiner would promote using Vicks. My dad always did that growing up. Plenty of rest, plenty of fluids. You need to relax. Herbal teas are really good. Eat light meals that aren't going to be too heavy on your body to break down. And how much vitamin C a day? That's a question I get quite a bit, Candace, don't you? So if you look at the RDA, you know what RDA stands for?
You want me to say it?
Sure, if you know the answer, shout
Really
it out.
dumb amounts,
Yes,
I think is one of them.
Yeah, really dumb amount. So vitamin C at 400 milligrams a day, it's not a whole lot, right? Maybe for a kid, that's pretty good amount. But they're saying if you're dealing, that's more for prevention, right? If you're dealing with the disease or you have a chronic flare-up, acute sickness, right? You want to go up to 10,000 a day. That'd be 125 large oranges. I know you have a big appetite, Candace. Can you eat 125 oranges?
I was just looking at 5 large oranges thinking, who could do that?
Yeah, I mean, just the stickiness alone and, you eat one, that's usually enough for anybody.
Plenty.
Right? You're not going to get it from orange juice, but we do want to eat the orange because there's fiber and there's so many nutrients in it. It's not just a supplement, but when you need those therapeutic acute dosages, that's where you got to take the supplements. In this case, I would use the powder because that's the easiest way to absorb a great amount. So there's a lot of myths out there about vitamin C. You get enough in food, which we just corrected that issue. You get diarrhea from it. only if your body is full of vitamin C. You know, natural whole vitamin C is always best. Well, the dosage is real important. No science behind high dosages. Well, go to Oregon State University, Dr. Pauling. You know, he did studies for years on really high dosages, and he showed significant impact when those doses get above 1,000 and 2,000. So there's so many different myths out there. We want to just kind of displace them. Vitamin C is very safe to take. If you have a little bit of loose stools, that means your body capacity is full. So you back the dosage down. So this looks a little bit more about how much dosing you use in a day. So daily doses, do one a day. For a kid, it could be the chewable. For you and me, it could be a powder. You know, if you need an acute dose, you can spread that out 2 to 4 times a day, right? And if you need a really high dose, say you have an acute illness, take that every 2 hours. Just keep taking it, and you'll get to those dosages we talked about. So you got to really know what your supplement label's saying. I've been doing this as a career for 29 years. I think that's a little longer than Candace has been on the planet. But I take it very seriously because I've been involved in the industry so long that I've seen a big change in the quality control standards. So you want to really know what your supplement's saying. So we look at what does the label say. You can go to the next one. There's 3 things you're looking for, folks. With Nutrional Frontiers, we've done all the homework. Doctor and I created the line because we want to make sure you had the right dose of the ingredients. 10 milligrams of vitamin C is not going to do it, right? We just showed you need 400 to 10,000 milligrams. So 10 milligrams is not going to do anything. So the dose is really important. The form of the nutrients is really important. One is for compliance and the other one is for absorbability. Big, hard compressed tablets are not going to give you the dose. If they don't contain bioflavonoids and minerals, they're not going to be buffered. And then what else is in there we don't want? So let's go to the next one. Oh my God. So here's one of the oldest companies in the world in our industry. And I'm not knocking their product, but 4 milligrams of vitamin C. Wow. You have to take a lot of those tablets. The next one we look at, the form of vitamin C doesn't even tell you, right? And then we look at a coating on top of the tablet. So is a coating going to help the absorbability? Probably not. Probably going to make it a lot worse. And then these are just 3 random examples I pulled. The last one has sugar in it, right? So we don't want sugar in our product. It says other ingredients. First one is sugar. Second one is sorbitol. So we don't want those in there. It has soy, artificial colorings, artificial flavorings, milk or milk derivatives, lactose. I'm sorry, it says free of those things, but it does have sugar in there. So we don't want sugar in our vitamins. So when you look at overall low dose, coatings, sugar, not a good idea. So we have buffered C plus in a, this is in a veggie capsule. So Candace is going to pull it up real quick on our website. So if you ever want these formula focused technical flyers, you can go right to our website, type in the product, go to professional, and then here's the flyer. You also can get hard copies at the Wine and Wellness Center. So these are all available for you to check out. And when we scroll down on here, right, and we can see the dosing. So the nice thing is that with the capsule, you get vitamin C. We have calcium in there to help buffer it, and then bioflavonoids. So that makes it closer to the natural orange you're going to get. So a nice dosage, 1,000 milligrams per 2. Now, a tablet will have 1,000 per 1, but they're too hard to break down, folks. Plus, who likes to swallow a big tablet? So they're not going to absorb it well. It's not always just a dose. It's the form and the absorbability. And then the powder, that has the higher dose. That has 1,000 milligrams per 1 scoop. It has the minerals in there, calcium. It has the B vitamins in there. It has minerals like magnesium and zinc. So this is awesome for the immune system, right? You have all those other mineral support nutrients in there. And then we added sodium bicarbonate, so it buffers it and helps the absorbability. So that's the powder. In addition, we have the cherry chews. So those are what I call the sweet tarts. They're 500 milligrams per one. They taste great. Kids love them. They feel like they're getting a little treat or a candy. They're easy to take, 500 milligrams. Tastes like cherries. So kids can do one a day. Give them one a day before school. And if they not feeling real good, give them one after school and one at night. But real easy as a preventative measure to get the 500 milligrams a day in. You can take that first thing in the morning or any time, and you get 500 milligrams in. The last one's a liposomal. So some people prefer a liquid. Some people want a liposomal delivery system. So that helps it absorb a little bit differently in liposomes, which are fat molecules. So different than a bucket of water, this would be beads of water. So your body absorbs it in much smaller particle sizes. So some people do prefer the Lipo-C. I know it got a lot of publicity this year for COVID. Look, they're all good. It's a matter of you picking which one you're going to stick with on a consistent basis. So I find the powder is so easy to take, but if you're a capsule person, we have that, liquid or chewable. Hey, we understand. That's why we have different delivery systems.
Jamie, that was awesome. I just received 2 questions, though, if you have a little bit more time to
Sure.
stay on and answer them. The first one is, you mentioned like the birth canal. Some people lose out on those things that help to build up the immune system from the beginning. But someone said, do you ever catch up if you were a C-section baby and or bottle fed?
Yeah, so you want to start the child, right? You can do this a few different ways. One is you can use Probzyme, and you can, if they are nursing later, you can crush it up, put it on the breast. If they're not nursing, you can crush that up. This is before they have teeth or can chew, and you can crush it up and put it in their food or into their bottle, right? So I would start with Probzyme. The other thing you can do is our Frontier Biotics. That's a capsule. Open the capsule up, put it in the food or any drink for the kids. So yeah, absolutely. You can catch up. And then remember, as we grow and the immune system continues to develop, the things that feed the good bacteria are fiber and short chain fatty acids, right? So proteins like glutamine, good fats, and fiber. Where do you get fiber? Fruits and veggies. So really important to make sure you're eating, even as a kid, a lot of good fruits and veggies, because that's fiber, that's food for the good bacteria. What do the bad bacteria feed on? Sugar, right? Alcohol. So they're going to dairy products. So not a good idea to have a kid's diet based on it, especially if they've been behind the 8 ball to begin with.
Awesome. So there was just one other question, I'll pull up something I have in mind here. What support do we have for the lymphatic system to help boost the immune system?
What's the what? Port?
The support
Oh,
for the
support.
lymphatic system
Oh,
to
there we
help
go.
boost the immune
Right.
system.
Yeah. So the lymphatic tincture is a great way. Remember, your body detoxifies 5 different ways, right? You know, I work out every morning. I was doing my workout this morning, and I like to sweat a lot. I know some people don't like to sweat. I like to get a good sweat in. That's where I'm detoxifying. So you detoxify through your skin, right? That's a really key way to detoxify. When you exhale, you're detoxifying. When you're urinating or having bowel movements, you're detoxifying. And for females during menstruation years, having a consistent cycle. Those are all great ways to help detoxify. Ways to support the lymph system is keep the body moving. Make sure you're getting good fluids in, a lot of water or herbal teas. Make sure you are eating good fibers. And to help support the lymphatic system, a little extra support is our lymphatic tincture. It has cleavers in it, which has really been shown to help and stimulate lymphatic drainage. And it gets the lymphatic system to remove toxins. So how does that work? That will help your sewage system release these toxins so that they get processed through the body and then you excrete them when you have either sweat, urination, or bowel movements. So really simple. The liquid organic herbal tinctures are a nice way. It's part of our Remove Complete Detox kit, but really simple and easy for people to take. It's a liquid, so you can put those droppers directly in your mouth, or you can put them in a drink. Some people may mix them with their shake, but really easy to take. The lymphatic is a very unique tincture. And we at Nutrional Frontiers will use more formulations. That way you get the benefits of all those different herbs in there. I know I mentioned cleavers, but it has more than just a gallium in it. So those are easy ways to stimulate the lymphatic system.
Awesome. Well, thanks for answering those two questions. You did have a bunch of people commenting, saying hello. Some friends were watching, some of our clients. So make sure you get back on their comments, say hello to everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. And Jamie, thanks for this great information talking about the different options we have for vitamin C and especially why it's so important and beneficial to our bodies.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Candace. Doing a great job. Thanks to you and Dr. Tracy Straub. Thanks to the Wine and Wellness Center, our entire team down there, and our team at Nutritional Frontiers. And thanks most of all to all our supporters. It was just overwhelming this weekend to get 7,000 viewers on for Dr. Judy. So it made me so proud that we have so many people out there supporting our efforts to help make the world healthy. So thanks so much. Have a great day and God bless.